Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create layouts for this. So one of the things I'll say is that if things show up here, then this is how it's going to show up in your map. So this is showing up this way, this one with the MS county data, the MF crime tags, the spatial autocorrelation map, all of those things are going to show up that way if you add in things like a legend. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch things to make them look prettier here. So I'm going to double click on the MS county data. I'm going to go up to information, source. I'm going to go up to source. Now under source it has layer name, and I'm going to change this one to say number of CWRGM crime letters by county. There we go. And I'm going to hit OK. Now you'll notice that that switches over in the layer tab as well. Now with this, one of the things I'll mention is that this doesn't actually rename your data. So if you look here, it still is under My Drive and it's still called MS County Data. So this is just an aesthetic, both for your layout maps, for your web maps, and so that you can see this. Same thing with spatial autocorrelation map. This one, I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to rename this one to be a Moran, let's go with clustering of crime letters. I'm going to call this Moran 1. There we go. I'm going to go OK. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, I'm going to leave my crime tags for a second and we're going to say that that's fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is up at the top, there's this bit up here that says new print layout. So I'm going to click on that one. And so it's going to say, okay, you're going to create a new print layout. The title will be automatically generated if it's left empty. So I'm going to say that this is going to be the crime tag CWRGM layout. Let's just go with that. Now, it'll automatically pull this, and it's automatically going to be in landscape. So you're going to have different things that pop up in here. So in this particular case, you can add in like different things like a legend, text, images, a 3D map, your map, all of those things. So if you're not sure what any of these things does, then just scroll over it. Now, me personally, I don't usually add scale bars or north arrows if those things are obvious. There's a variety of reasons for that, not the time or place, but if you want to add them, just think about whether or not it adds value to your map. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say I'm going to add a map. So I just clicked on add map and I'm going to pull in, that's about the middle point. All right, so if you need to do that, you can add your map here. That's how you do it. Okay, so now I can go in here and I can say, well, that's awfully small, so maybe I don't want to do that. So maybe I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and I'm going to reload this map. I'm going to, where am I here? I'm going to switch my scale is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to say, all right, I want this to be closer. So I'm going to start dropping down my values until it starts looking like how I want. So this is a bit of a way to do things. You can also scroll in here, so you can like zoom in and out that way. You can click and drag. You can do any of those things. So that's going to be the first one. So this is the first one that I'm going to do. I'm going to say, okay, that's fine. And so then I'm going to call that one map 1. That's fine. And so then it's going to say set layer list from the map theme. So I can lock my layers as well. And I can say that that's fine. And then that should work fine. There we go. All of that should be fine. So this is going to be my first one that I do, and then I can also go in here and I can add in a legend if I want. So I can do that. Now the legend is going to be pretty big. So you might have to go over to your legend and start dealing with, okay, what things do I actually want in here, right? So it's got all of those different bits. And remember how I said that it was going to have all of the things that and how they look. So MF crime tags, for example. So here, I can just start. It's going to say auto update, so I can not auto update it. That's an option. And so I can just start removing the things that I don't want, for example. So the only things I really want is the CWRGM one. And so that's going to be the thing that I use. And then I can go here and I can say, okay, maybe I don't want it to be looking quite like this. And so then I'm going to say, all right, I want this, instead of to be doing this MS shell, maybe I want this. I'm usually a serif human, so I'm going to go with Cambria, and that's fine. I'm going to say 12 is okay. And that was for the item property, so you'll notice it just did that one. For the headings, you're going to want to change the headings as well. So maybe I'm going to change this one to Cambria, and now that has changed that one, which is fine. So that's going to be how that functions there. So then you can take a look at some of the other ones and you can say, okay, well, how many columns do you want? How many, what kind of spacing do you want? Is there going to be a rotation on things, right? So I can rotate this. Just please don't. You know, so I can take a look at this position and sizing. I can take a look at, do I want the background on it, right? So how do I want the background to look like? Do I want there to be a background, right? So maybe I do, and then, oh, come here, come here, come here, come back. Gonna unlock layers. What are we doing? There we go. I'm gonna move that one over so that now it's showing up and it's not cutting off the actual map. So I just use this interactively edit the map extent, which is this button here. So yeah, so I can do that, and then I can stop doing that. I can click back on my legend. I can make sure that it looks the way that I want it to. I can, if I want to wrap the text, I can do that. I can also switch it so that how it's, what's happening. Is it on the right? Is it on the left? I can change, again, how many columns do I want? Do I want to split the layers? How do I want my symbols to look? All of those exact same things that I can do. So that's going to be my first map here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to add in the second map. So to add in a secondary map, one of the things that we want to do is we want to make sure that we lock this set of layers. So we want to lock this layer and lock the styles for the layers so that nothing happens in this map. I've had mixed luck with this, I'm not going to lie. Doesn't always work for me, but we're going to hope that this one works this time around. So what we're going to do is we're then going to go and we're going to add a new map in here. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to say, yeah, this is going to do the same thing here. And we're going to call it good, hopefully. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to want to make this the same size. So I could go through and edit the map interactively, or I can go back to this map 1, see what this scale is, copy this scale, and then paste it in this data set instead of trying to deal with it elsewise. So this one, then, we've got the same size map, which is exactly what we want. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to QGIS, and the main one, and I'm going to turn on my clustering for my Moran letters here. So here, what I'm going to do is in map 2, I'm going to hit refresh. So now we have switched this one to having the legend that we want, or sorry, to having the map that we want, right? So I didn't change any of the symbology in this one. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to add a legend to this one. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, yeah, I want to add a legend in here. It's going to add the giant one. I'm going to say, yes, that's totally fine. But this legend, I don't want these things. So I'm going to go through and I'm not going to auto update that one. So I'm going to get rid of that one. I'm going to get rid of this, everything that is not the Moran one in this case. Now, this is still too large. So I'm going to have to do some extra things with this. So I could go through and I could make it smaller. I can change the shape. I can do all of those things. What I'm going to do in this case, though, is I'm going to turn it into 3 columns, and I'm going to split the layer. That's what I'm going to do for this one. And so this, then I'm going to say, yeah, I want to split this out. I'm also going to wrap my text. And I'm going to try and wrap my text on, let's go with 10. What's this one? 1. This 5. It's not wrapping the way I want it to. That's okay. Resize to fit contents. I am actually going to make this a little bit smaller. Yeah, if I can. Let's go with my size and position. That's fine. I'm going to switch this out. I don't want the background on. I want this to then be, where's this? Where is the text? Text? Where's my text? Render it. Item, rotation, size, spacing, symbol. Nope. Where's my text? Am I losing it? Oh, text and formatting. I am losing it. It's up there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to change my label items to Cambria, same as before. I'm going to go up and change my, and I can reduce the size on that too if I wanted to. In this particular case, I'm going to go to my subgroup headings. Also going to do that. I'm going to say that this one is going to be Cambria 2, Cambria, that's fine. And I am going to increase this text size a little bit. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. There we go. So now it fits just inside of that, but we still do have this bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move both of these up. And I'm going to, and that's just going to make life easier so that they're both the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to map 1. I'm going to hope that this still keeps my layers locked. There we go. I'm going to do that. That one's fine. And then I'm going to go to map 2, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to move it up. Now, this might be where you decide that, you know, actually what I want to do is I want to just make my my boxes smaller and have my legends outside of that. That's also totally fine. It might actually be a better option in most cases. But if you want to have them on the inside, that also works perfectly fine, right? So you can kind of play around with what you want in this particular case about how you want things to be adjusted. But if you do want to do that, then you can. You just have to make sure that you're on the arrow button there so that you can then go up this way. This one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go up here, and then you're going to have to go back and move it to the extent that you want, for example. So I'm going to do this. There we go. And then this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make this look like that. Perfect. So then I can go back and I can click on these guys and I can move them however I want. There we go. And then that's going to be the layout that you have. Now, you may want to make sure that they're actually same in terms of how big they are. You can also play around with, you know, hey, I want to add borders to it, for example. I want to add a grid to it, all of those different sorts of things, right? So if I want to border it, that would be just clicking on the frame, and then we've got that. So then once you're happy with your layout, right? So if you've got everything that you want, these are a little, I'm gonna move that one down a smidge. There we go. But once you're happy with it and you're happy with how it looks, you're like, yep, that's what I want to do. Then what you can do is you can go to your layout, and you can export it as an image, you can export it as an SVG, so a vector, or you can export it as a PDF, right? So you can do any of those things. I'm going to export mine as an image. I'm going to say, yep, that's fine. I'm going to say that I want to do it as a PNG, and that's fine. You can give it whatever DPI you want. You can save it, and now once you go to your images, you should be able to see, so in my case, it's right there. I can open this one up, and now I have my map layout as it is. So that's going to be for this one, how you get this one to be your layout. When we come back, I'm going to show you how to do a web map and how you want to transition this into an online interactive format. So there's going to be more things that we do, so stay tuned for that. Thanks.